Vaquero is the word now that we use to describe a style of ranching and raising cattle and an approach to livestock in general. It comes from Spain and it's centuries old. It originated in North America, more in California in the mid-1800s. It stresses more the skill learned over a long period of time for the individual, and once you've achieved a certain level of skill, one person is able to be a lot more productive. And it is lower stress on the livestock and lower stress on the horses, and probably on the people as well. It certainly seemed that way to me. And because of the economic aspect of it, as well as the pride that you get and the respect from other people, and like the grass-fed beef movement, those are generally the same types of people that are not content with the status quo of the way that things have been done in the past. So the feedlot type cowboys tend to be more the rough and adversarial type, whereas the pastoralist sort of Vaquero or Buckaroo, California, it's all, Great Basin. I hate to leave them out because without the Great Basin buckaroos, this may have been a secret for a whole lot longer. The California bridle horse style of horsemanship is derived from classical dressage, which was originally developed for war, for cavalry horses, and then dressage as a sport grew out of that. But the practical application of dressage principles is still alive in bridle horse. And the goal is to be able to ride with precision, to be able to direct the horse's feet just like they were your own feet. And you can, do fancy maneuvers that are, akin to dancing with the horse, but also to keep your horse quiet around cattle, you need to be able to get them to move quietly and calmly and precisely. Sometimes just a horse, if you're parting cattle, or what in California would call parting, in Texas they would refer to it as cutting or sorting cattle. Sometimes just the horse leaning its weight forward or back is enough to either stop a calf from coming by you or to let them go on by. So you can mess up a lot of work just by being 4 or 5 inches out of position. And it constantly changes. So you have to read the herd, read the movement of the herd, and then adjust your position and your horse's position based on that to get the outcome you want. You view the herd of cattle as a group, and you learn to work with that group like a class, like a teacher would work with a class. And although each individual sometimes in the herd, and there's definitely some that you're going to know no matter what size it is, you kind of see them as a class, and if you work with them and you're working with your horse along the way, you go out, check your cattle, ride through them quietly, work on your horsemanship, everything stays calm. Your cattle cease to see you as a threat to them, and you take them for a walk. That was just the way it was described to me at one time, and that was my job. I was the new cow walker, and go out in the morning, get the herd up, let them stretch, let them cough a little bit, and get them all moving, and then start to steer them a certain direction and just take them somewhere for some exercise, a little mental stimulation, and they do better. They gain weight better, they don't get sick as often, and they're much easier to handle. There's so many different aspects to it. I mean, it is part of a holistic approach to raising cattle and managing grasslands, which is a big issue. Drought management, weed control, managing riparian areas. I mean, all this it all fits together, and it's almost, to me, illogical to take any other approach. And so I think, yeah, the oldest way is the wave of the future. The more that the cattle's welfare is taken into account, and for better or worse, laws are passed to ensure the animal's welfare, the more important it will be to find people to get into this industry that are capable of determining what is best for the cattle and what approach to take to end up with a desired outcome. It's a whole thing. It's a big deal.
Hi, I'm Steve Jones of Steve Jones Horsemanship. We're continuing our segments on From Ground to Saddle. The basic maneuvers that we're talking about is forward motion, stopping, backing up, turning left, turn right. As the name sounds, from ground to saddle, we're talking about building that foundation from the ground, transferring the cues and the knowledge in the field to the saddle, and progressing our horses through the training stages. Today, our emphasis is on forward motion. Now that sounds really easy, but I see that being one of the biggest problems. We see horses that are a little intimidated as they increase speed, but here's the opportunity to start our communication system with our horse. A couple of things that I see that becomes a problem for horsemen is proper body position. And that starts with the ground as well as in the saddle. When we're going to ask our horse to move out, whether from the ground or from the saddle, in this case from the ground, one hand needs to be our lead hand. Our hands give direction. Our body then becomes the gas pedal to increase the energy or create energy to get the horse to move out. So I always like to make sure that I emphasize direction. In my position here with this horse, my left hand becomes my directional hand. So I'm going to move my hand forward, and that tells him that we're going forward. The next thing I'm going to do is, as long as I stay in the middle of the horse, in his rib cage from foreflank to rear flank, that's sort of the neutral position. And I don't want him to do anything until I give some kind of cue, either directional or an energy cue with my body to get him to move out. In a particular situation here, when we give these cues, I like to do them in threes, and here's how I define it. I ask, I suggest, and I demand. What do I mean by that? What I'm meaning is I increase the amount of speed or the energy that I give to the horse to get him to change speed. But forward motion is important. Stay here in neutral. I'm going to tilt his head just a little bit to get him focused on me. He now knows we're supposed to go right. You see him take that step. Then I shift out of neutral and I concentrate on the hip. The hip is the energy point. As I increase my energy, I drive him forward. So my left hand becomes my directional hand. I'm focusing on the hip. All of my energy is on the hip because that's where the motor is. The motor's in behind. So we drive off the hind end, the front end gives us direction. If I want to increase the speed, I just increase my energy level. If I want to slow down, I decrease my energy level. Notice I didn't come to a complete stop. If I want to increase my energy, I just get big. One clinician said I get big like a grizzly bear. But then as I relax my body, he will relax. And then, if I completely relax and I don't give off any energy, that's taking my foot off the gas pedal. Then when I take my foot off the gas pedal, the motor quits running. Body position is important. Always use one hand for direction. Your body becomes the gas pedal. Next week, we will continue this series and go into the same maneuver, the same principles in the saddle.
this storyteller's thread.
Every time I pick up this old harp, I think of my buddy Blueboy Willie, king of the juke joint blues. We ran into Willie in Amarillo, Texas the other day and had a really good time.
Whoa, she left me. She didn't even say goodbye.
Well, I would say country blues. Country blues, this is my genre that I do. And that's my style of music, you know, because I grew up right around this area. And this is what we heard coming up, so, you know, natural boogie. We, you know, go across the street where the juke joint was during our lunch hour recess. Throw a nickel in the jukebox, man, we'd listen to that blues. Couldn't concentrate hardly on our lesson, our homework for, you know, because the juke joint was right across the street from the school. My dad, he played harmonica, and we'd, you know, be around him, he'd play his harp, and I found out where he kept it. Kept it in his suit pocket. While he would go to work during the day, I would get that harmonica and play on it, you know, until I finally learned to play it. And I finally showed him one day that I could play it and say, "Boy, where you learn that at?" I'd been, you know, swiping his harp from him and playing on it, you know.
Looking like Texas, waiting, waiting in the morning. If we're thankful I will live at a beautiful like the Hatfield and McCoy.
Music is international, man. You can play it, you know, like for instance, me as a bluesman, I can go in any venue and get away with doing the blues, but I can do different genres if the occasion calls for it, but I let them know that I'm coming in to do a blues show.
Break it off down right here. Squeeze me, baby. Squeeze me, baby. Want you to squeeze me. Want you to squeeze me, baby. Like the mama squeeze a baby's head. Hey.
I've got a passion for what I do. You know, if I can't do it with a group, man, I'll do it by myself. You know, just love doing it. And this, you know, this is what I do. You know, no blues man is rich, but you can be satisfied. You can get you some dates here and there, you know, enough to make it, you know.
I'm the one that wrote the book.
You know, you got to have a song. You got to have music. It helps you out. It helps you out. It, you know, it cleans you up. I've been doing this ever since I can remember, and I plan to keep on doing it, you know. I might not be the big time, but These people up here in this panhandle, man, I call myself a panhandle blueser, not a loser. There's some good spots, there's some bad spots on the rocky road of the blues, but you just keep on, just keep on that path and let people hear what you do. You're somebody when you have an audience that appreciate what you're doing, you feel that and you thrive on that. You go to the next place, and if you can make somebody happy, when they happy, that make you happy as a performer. When you're getting across, to people, to your audience. You get a good blues song, man, and something that you can relate to, and you can listen sometime. Sometimes it'll make you laugh, and sometimes it'll make you cry. Sometimes make you get that feeling, and you don't know why. You have to have the blues to play the blues. And you have to have the blues to know the blues. It's not something that you develop, it's something that you're born with. From the root. I don't have the blues. Blues got me.
Blueboy Willie! Thank you for coming out!
Saddle creaking in the southern breeze. My pony's feet are rustling through the leaves. No destination, nowhere to be. Just my thoughts, my lunch, my pony and me. He flinches twice, but moves on along. I'm still humming that same old song. When I'm in the saddle, I'm happy, it never fades. Recalling all the stories I've heard. When I'm out here, I'm free as a bird. I never tire of these southern tales and trails. No, I never tire of these southern tales and